Alright, today I'll explain to you how to do a half flip in Rocket League using keyboard and mouse controls. There have been other tutorials that I've seen on this specifically already, but most of them are either really hard to understand or they just weren't explained very well. So, considering you went out of your way to find this video, you probably already know what a half flip is, but in case you don't, a half flip is one of the fastest processes in Rocket League to do a complete 180 without using turns or power slides. But we will be using your power slide or air roll button to do this. Now, to go over my controls, I use default keyboard and mouse controls, that is WASD for movement, left shift for air roll, spacebar for ball cam, left click for boost, and right click for jumping. Additionally, middle mouse for reverse cam and arrow keys for turning my camera, but that's just preference and it doesn't come into play here anyway. Keep in mind that this process is generally used in high-end gameplay and is not suggested for beginners, but realistically anyone can benefit from using this. There are either 3 or 4 necessary components to this jump, and it really just depends at the time whether you have boost or not. It's not necessary, but it does make you faster towards the end of your turn. So without further ado, let's go ahead and head on over to quick play to begin. So to start, I would suggest lining yourself up with the second boost pad from the ball in the center. The first part of this jump is just a simple backflip. Don't think too much on it. Assuming you got that down in no time, the next thing you need to do is, exactly as your car is nearing the end of the backflip, hold whatever key you have bound for forward movement, that is W in default controls, so that your car is kept as close to level with the ground as possible with relation to the hood of your car. Just do this a few times until you're comfortable with holding it. And the last step is to either hold Q or E while you hold W. Q and E are buttons that perform as shortcuts to air rolling left and right respectively, which basically just gets rid of your need to hold left shift. Keep in mind that you can use these buttons while performing aerials, but over the 1,000+ hours I've played in this game, I highly unrecommend it, just out of personal preference and experience for me, but you can go ahead and try it and figure out what you want to do on your own. But anyway, getting back on track, when we hold Q and E together with W, your car will flip over while traveling backwards, allowing you to very quickly turn from offense to defense or vice versa, making it pretty crucial in high-level competitive play. If you perform a half flip correctly, your car should land perfectly in the same direction you were traveling. However, it is important to note that just like any other action that you do in Rocket League backwards, your controls are now flipped. Therefore, when you hold W and Q, your car will flip to the right, and if you hold W and E, your car will flip to the left. In order to correct this, you can either hold your keybind for left or right towards the end of your flip so that you're facing the direction you want. And lastly, if you do have boost at the time of doing the flip, holding boost while holding your other 2 keys, that is W and Q or W and E, will give you a slight speed increase, which you may or not find pretty useful. One thing you might want to note is that you can actually use this to get supersonic immediately. Again, it just depends on your situation. Once you have the actual flip down, you'll be able to make those judgment calls yourself. And that's really it. That's the half flip using keyboard and mouse. Hopefully you found this helpful and concise. If not, I'll be able to answer any of your questions on the subject in the comments down below. Peace.